I welcome Ashneer to this show. This is a good opportunity for all of us to be able to hear from you. We've been listening about you, we've been reading about you. I think we all are privileged to be able to hear from you about the way you build this organization, in fact, multiple of them, and how you have reached to the position you are today. And it's enviable in the world of business because it's getting really competitive, and people like you are there to give inspiration to so many more that yes, once you put things together, things can really happen. So welcome to the show once again. I would like to start with this one question. Now, see, everybody knows you are a serial entrepreneur, investor, a shark, and now a best-selling author. By the way, congratulations for your book.
Thank you.
And we would like to know from you that, according to you, what is that mindset that a business owner must have to create a success story like you?
Uh, I don't know if my success story is something to emulate, but I like to keep things very, very simple. End of the day, all business is about putting a right product in the market, right? And when by the right product, I mean a product which has value for the customer, for which he is willing to pay, and and a product of which the time has come, right? So timing is very, very critical in business. Uh, I, in general, am excited about businesses which have large numbers, right? So
Okay.
for me, the basic criteria of getting into anything or any business or trying my hand at something is that the numbers have to be very, very large. Uh,
Okay.
and the reason behind that is that even if you build a smaller business in a larger market, it's going to be significant. And end
Mhm.
of the day, all of us have 24 hours here. So yeah, if you want to run a shop, it will still eat up 24 hours. If you want to run a conglomerate, even it will still eat up 24 hours. So it's a choice you have to make. Uh,
Lovely.
so so in general, I like to go for businesses which are larger, so that the outcome is also big for everyone.
So what you say is basically any business you will put in the same kind of effort. But if you choose a model which is highly scalable and has got a large customer base, it makes it worth your while and worth your entire journey. Lovely,
Absolutely.
lovely. Apart from this mindset, is there something else which you like to tell business owners that what should they prepare themselves with, like people, team, strategies? Which are the things, according to you, which a business owner needs when he goes to a journey of becoming a successful entrepreneur?
See, I believe strategy, you know, it's overrated in some sense. All businesses are built on very simple premise of buying cheap and selling expensive, right? That's the that's the basic, right? And the difference between the two is the value that you're adding to the business. So in terms of strategy, right, it's almost clear to everyone what one has to do. Um, End of the day, it's all about execution. So
Okay.
when I got an opportunity to build BharatPe, the whole idea was to build a network of merchants very fast, because UPI is the new thing, and UPI QR codes are not going to walk to a shop. Someone has to go and put them there. And people like Paytm had no incentive to adopt UPI, so they were very happy with the shopkeeper having their closed loop QR codes.
Right.
So I just realized that if I put out enough QR codes fast enough, then in an ideal world I should succeed, and that's exactly what I did. So end of the day, everything boils down to not overthinking the strategy. If you are doing too many meetings every week or every month on strategy, something is wrong. Strategy has to be done once, and it has to be so simple that it appeals to everyone in your team, or your investors, or whoever are the stakeholders. And then it's about getting down to hard and fast execution.
Beautiful. So you say that strategy is simple, which is understood easily by the team and the stakeholders and the shareholders, and the rest is about execution until you get it right. Now, also since you've been speaking in the summit, so we would like to know from you in this ever-changing business environment, how important it is to learn from others and try and look at what's available outside and learn from that. So, what do you say about that?
See, the two sides of it. Of course, you need to be aware of what's out in the market. Right? You can't be today building with something which has someone else has already built somewhere, right? So you're going to waste your time. But at the same time, I am not too inclined to be, just looking outside all the time, because end of the day, um, there's too much information out there, right? So if you are just consuming outside information, it can be overwhelming at times, right? And the way things get portrayed now is that, even your smallest competitor would seem like very big, just because of social media. So I think you need to be very self-aware and confident of what you're doing. Consume outside information, but only to the extent you need it to, right? Don't overconsume it, because otherwise it's going to lead to paralysis, right? So just keep it simple again.
So the message is keep it simple. Do look what happening outside. Keep an eye outside, but don't overdo it because it just might lead to paralysis of getting overwhelmed. Thank you very much for that. Now, you are coming to the Indian Wealth Summit 2.2 as a speaker. What should people expect to learn from you in your interactions? What would be that?
See, as a speaker, I have a very simple philosophy. You can only tell your story, right? You cannot transfer teachings to anyone. I'm not a teacher, right? I'm not a teacher. I'm not here to preach. I like interacting with people, and that's what it's going to be. It's going to be an interaction. You can ask me anything. There's absolutely no boundary condition, right? You can ask me the most private of questions. You can also ask me the most controversial of questions. Be ready to hear the response, but otherwise there's no boundary condition. And if you take away something from that conversation, great, right? So, but that's my style.
Lovely. So we are looking forward for great interaction, some questions, some answers, controversials, not controversials. That's up to the people to come and ask. Lovely. Thank you very much for that. Now, one of your previous conversation I was going through, and I heard you speak about being aggressive and on execution and taking actions. So why do you think that's so important?
Yep. See, end of the day, if you don't execute, then we are not here to do theory, right? As a businessman, you're a practical guy, right? You have to get a product out in the market. Now, the philosophy is pretty simple, that if you're not fast enough, see, any idea can be copied. So there's no sort of proprietary idea, right? You can't, and especially in a country like India, where the courts pronounce a judgment once you're dead. You can't even think of enforcing anything through the courts, right? So, the moment you are going to launch something, be sure someone is going to see what it is. And especially in new age businesses, you're launching an app, right? You're basically putting your complete source code out there, right? So if anyone is smart enough, he can copy the whole thing. So the only thing which is going to differentiate you from the other is, if you have a larger vision of what you want to build, because the other person cannot copy the vision. He can copy what you have already delivered. He cannot copy what you plan to deliver tomorrow, right? And the other thing is to do it so fast, right, that he's playing catch up. So
Put in the speed so much that before people are thinking you already halfway through. That's what
yeah,
execution is. Thank you very much.
at BharatPe, I put out 50 lakh QR codes in the first 6 months, right? And at that point of time, all the other big guys were in denial, saying this guy will die. He's just a fry in the pan, or but by that time, I had already done what these people had done in the last 10 years, right?
You already walked the talk, and we are very excited that you'll be sharing some more details about how the entire journey went. So, amongst so many challenges, and we know about you, we've been reading about you, we know that you faced many challenges and you've overcome them successfully, and you're overcoming certain challenges as we talk. So, if you would like to pick up one challenge which you overcame earlier in your business, which helped you to change the trajectory of your business, what would that challenge be? And if you share, how did you feel at that time, and how did you overcome that?
Well, I think there've been multiple challenges, some big ones, some small ones. When I was building BharatPe, one of the biggest challenges was that it's a lending business. So
Mm.
your raw material becomes capital. So, and I'm not talking about the equity capital. Equity is to build out the network and to build out the product. But when you want to lend money out, you need money in the first place, right? So where do you borrow from? So that was a challenge I had, and I was very clear the banks and NBFCs are not going to play ball. They're going to slow you down. So at that point of time, I created, in fact, opened up the whole P2P NBFC industry where any individual could save money with any of the BharatPe products and earn 12% interest rate. Right. So I think that was a very, in hindsight, a very unique solution to a challenge, which was saying if you want to become a lender, how do you become a lender without going to a bank or an NBFC?
Thank you very much for the sharing. And all of us know that this was something which took the market by the storm. And as you were rightly saying, by the time others were figuring out, they were already playing the catch-up game. You were already ahead of the game. So it's amazing. Thank you very much for spending this time with us. Thank you very much for this interaction. We are looking forward. We are looking forward to meet you. Thank you very much. God bless you. Take care.
Thank you. Thanks. Bye.